were having conversations as if Drake's career was over.
Nobody ever said that. That's not true. No, that's not true.
That's what all three of the albums spell?
Him.
Yeah,
I saw that on there.
Nobody ever thought Drake was over.
Sensible people.
All he did was lose a rap battle.
Yeah, that's all he did. Nobody ever thought Drake.
We were saying that. All he did was lose a rap battle.
Yeah, and as he was losing the rap battle, a couple of months later, he's back to a #1 record with somebody else that he had.
Kendrick Lamar has already responded to Drake's diss track about him, and he isn't impressed. The hype for the Iceman album has been building for a long time, but some people have posted some songs early. One of these songs is called 1 a.m. in Albany. It's a 5-minute track where Drake disses many different people. In the song, he goes for Kendrick and even mentions his height. One of the lines is, Muggsy Bogues dunked for once, even I'm a bit amazed. Someone gave this kid a raise. He's comparing Kendrick to a former basketball player who is known for being short. This song has caused a stir because it's bringing the beef back to life. Almost everyone thinks Drake lost the beef, so this could be a very risky move. Now, Kendrick has reacted to the diss. Under a clip of the song, he left a comment that said, making a fool out of yourself.
Kendrick Lamar hasn't said a word, not one post, not one story, not one cryptic lyric dropped at midnight. Drake just released 3 albums in one night, 43 songs, took over the CN Tower in Toronto, spent the better part of Iceman talking directly at K. Dot, and Kendrick is silent. And that silence is the loudest thing in hip-hop right now. To understand why, you need the context. But the short version is this. In 2024, Kendrick Lamar buried Drake in the most complete way rap beef has ever produced. Like that declared there was no big 3, just big him. Euphoria was 6 minutes of surgical dismantling. Not Like Us was a diss track so infectious that people who don't follow rap were streaming it. The whole thing culminated with Kendrick performing Not Like Us at Super Bowl 59 in front of over 100 million people, with the crowd screaming the certified pedophile lyric on broadcast television. 5 Grammys. Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, Best Music Video. A diss track swept the Recording Academy's biggest night. Drake tried to respond, filed a lawsuit against his own label Universal Music Group, claiming they improperly promoted a song that falsely accused him, and that lawsuit was dismissed in October 2025. That's the hill Drake was climbing when Iceman dropped on May 15th, 2026. The rollout was big. 4-episode YouTube livestream series, previewed lyrics, burned what appeared to be a bot farm on camera referencing streaming fraud allegations against Not Like Us, revealed he wasn't dropping 1 album, but 3 simultaneously. He hijacked the CN Tower in Toronto, made it a whole event. The spectacle was real, and the culture was locked in. Then Iceman dropped, and Drake spent a significant portion of his main album still talking about Kendrick Lamar. 2 years after the beef, after the Grammys, after the Super Bowl, after the dismissed lawsuit, after everything. And the biggest story coming out of his comeback project is still about what Kendrick did to him. Let's break down exactly what he said, because the disses are spread across multiple songs and you need to see them all laid out. First shot, make them pay. Damn, who is this guy for real? I guess a magician. 100 million streams vanish. No one got questions for new. The magician line is about streaming fraud allegations. The idea that Not Like Us had artificially inflated numbers that quietly declined after the lawsuit. Drake is trying to plant doubt about whether Kendrick's victory was even real statistically. It's an interesting angle, but the lawsuit that carried those allegations was dismissed without the claims being proven in court. The foundation the bar stands on isn't solid. Second shot, Dust. What was the year you said you had slaps? 'Cause I don't remember it going like that. I don't remember one word of your raps. Calling Kendrick musically irrelevant outside of the beef, like the diss tracks are all he has and the actual catalog doesn't hold up. This is coming from the man who lost 5 Grammys to one of those diss tracks. The line was always going to get laughed out of the room. Drake said it anyway. Third shot, height jokes on multiple tracks. The Muggsy Bogues reference. Muggsy Bogues dunked for once. Even I'm a bit amazed. Someone give the kid a raise. Muggsy Bogues was the shortest player in NBA history. Drake has been going to the height well since push-ups in 2024. The fact that he's reaching for the same bar 2 years later tells you something about where the creative ammunition is running thin. Fourth shot, and this is the most calculated one. White kids listen to you 'cause they feel some guilt, and that's how your soul get fulfilled. Handing out turkeys on camera inside of your hood, then you go back to the hills. Drake is attacking the foundation of what makes Kendrick Kendrick. His credibility, his identity as a voice for the culture, framing his community work as performative clout for guilty white liberals rather than genuine love for Compton. That's a sharp bar aimed at the right target. The problem is who's throwing it. Drake, the mixed-race Canadian rapper, who built his entire early brand performing Black Southern culture, calling out someone else's demographic authenticity is a problem the internet clocked immediately. You can't be the certified culture vulture and critique somebody else's connection to the community. That doesn't math. Fifth shot, the caged owl. The owl never sees the cage. The owl only wakes up to seize the day. In Kendrick's Not Like Us video, there was a caged owl, a direct visual metaphor for Drake being trapped and defeated. Drake is flipping that imagery, trying to reclaim the owl as a symbol of freedom. It's clever on paper. The problem is it just reminds everybody of the original video and everything that came with it. Every time Drake references Kendrick's imagery, he's keeping Kendrick's work alive. Sixth shot, bees on the table. I'm fighting the man, not suing a rapper. Addressing the criticism that filing against UMG instead of Kendrick directly was a soft move. Drake framing it as going after the institution rather than the individual. Whether you accept that reframing is on you, but he felt the need to explain it, which means the perception had already settled. Seventh shot, West Coast disses. On Too Hard for the Radio, Drake uses a West Coast sounding beat, tells Kendrick that people in Oakland love him too, and comes at Mustard specifically. Mustard heard about us. Got to catch up to the slaps. You ain't had one since me and YG rapped. Going after the man who made Not Like Us into the undeniable record it became. Trying to destabilize Kendrick's whole collaborative infrastructure. So that's all of it. 7 angles, spread across 3 albums. And here's the honest assessment. Drake rapped well on Iceman, better than he's rapped in years. The bars are tighter, the delivery is sharper, you can hear the motivation. As a pure rap performance, this is a real showing. But this specific battlefield isn't just about rapping well, it's about narrative. And the narrative is so deep in Kendrick's favor that even strong bars can't fully relocate the conversation. Here's the fundamental problem with Drake's Iceman strategy. When you're the one who won a conflict, you stop talking about it. You move forward. You build the next thing. When you're still wounded, you keep bringing up the fight. And Drake's most anticipated album in years, his comeback statement, his great reclamation moment, is still overwhelmingly organized around what Kendrick did to him. The conversation coming out of Iceman keeps circling back to how Drake feels about the 2024 beef. Not Drake's new music, not Drake's new era. Even the biggest cultural moment from the rollout, burning the alleged bot farm, was about Kendrick's streaming numbers. It's his comeback, and Kendrick is still the main character. That's not winning the narrative. That's the narrative winning you. Kendrick's actual response to all of this is already visible. It's just not a diss track. After the Super Bowl, he dropped GNX, an album that didn't mention Drake by name, didn't need to, just flexed artistry and legacy. He went on a world tour. The culture gave him commercial dominance, critical validation, and institutional recognition simultaneously. He's been operating like the chapter is closed and the page has been turned. The most devastating thing Kendrick can do to Drake's Iceman narrative is exactly what he's doing. Nothing. Because Iceman needs a response to be relevant, the way Drake wants it to be relevant. A response record gives Drake another round, another opportunity, another cycle. Silence forces Drake to stand in the arena talking to someone who already left the building. The Fireman rumor, a completely fabricated counter-project that circulated online, generated more internet energy than half the actual Iceman track list. A fake album by Kendrick created more buzz than a real one by Drake. That's the power of the position Kendrick currently holds without saying a single word. Drake called Kendrick's streaming numbers inflated, but 5 Grammys exist. He said he doesn't remember one word of Kendrick's raps, but 100 million people watched those raps at the Super Bowl. You can't diss facts with bars. The receipts are already in. So what actually happens next? If Kendrick responds, the beef continues on Drake's terms and Iceman gets retroactive relevance it doesn't currently have. If Kendrick stays silent, Drake is the man who built his comeback album around a person who won't acknowledge him. Either way, the leverage is Kendrick's. The last thing Kendrick said publicly about any of this was in GNX's waxed out murals, and even that wasn't about Drake directly. It was about his place in history, about purpose, about what the whole chapter revealed about the culture. That's a man who already closed the book. Drake just wrote another letter to someone who stopped reading the mail. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Kendrick responds, or does the silence continue? And is Drake's strategy on this album the right call, or is he making it worse? Subscribe for the full breakdown when anything new drops. this story is not over yet.